Shalom to the elect of Israel, to the whole flock of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. Got to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah, the Most High, the Heavenly Father. His Hebrew name is Yahweh. Not Yahweh, not Jehovah, not God, not Elohim, not Most High, not Lord, not Yah, not Jah, not Ahai, not Allah, not Abba, not Yahuwah. It's Yahweh. And his only begotten Son name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Not Yahshua, not Yeshua, not Jesus Christos, not Jesus Christ, not Serapis Christos, not Yeshaya, not Yehoshua. It's Yahweh Shah. Not Yahusha. It's Yahweh Shah. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah. Gotta give double honors to the apostles and elder bishops and elders of Great Millstone who were well, who teach well, who are the apostles and elders of all of Israel, whether accepted or not. In the sincere salutation to all the occupant pushing his truth and believing in his truth, but the four ends of the earth, the entire world shall unite to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the Akwath who are listening learning. You few sisters who are listening learning. Coming to another lesson in truth, facts, faith, and edification. Another day of edification, Lord, was you edifying. So I titled this lesson, The Lord is Stirring Up Jealousy. I'm Isaiah from the GMS Orlando account. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai is stirring up jealousy. Lord, what's be edifying? So I saw this today when I left the plantation, and I got two clips on the play. And this is as of recent. Check this out. Let me turn this volume down. This is as of recent.
The Israeli military launched deadly strikes on the southern Gazan city of Rafah overnight on Saturday that killed 22 people, including 18 children, health officials say. Among the affected was a baby who was saved from her dying mother's womb after the airstrike in Rafah. She was named after her mother, who did not survive. More than half of Gaza's population has sought safety in Rafah to escape fighting in the Israel-Hamas conflict following October 7th, the attack on October 7th. The war has killed more than 34,000 Palestinians, at least two-thirds of them women and children, according to local health officials.
Now I want to read this real quick because this is this is a heavy separation, and this is from CNN. It reads: Israeli leaders and military criticize reported U.S. plans to sanction IDF unit. It reads: Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other ministers have sharply criticized reports of plans by the United States to sanction Israeli military unit for alleged human rights abuses against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. What's going on? The allegations are said to implicate members of the Netzah Yehuda Battalion, Battalion of the Israel Defense Force, IDF, in the occupied West Bank, a unit established in 1999 compromising religious and ultra-Orthodox small hats. They precede the Hamas-led attacks on October 7th. Sanctions must not be imposed on the Israel Defense Forces, Netanyahu posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, on Saturday. So it's a Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and other ministers have sharply criticized reports of plans by the United States to sanction an Israeli military unit for alleged human rights abuses against Palestinians in the occupied West Bank. So let's run this back.
During a press briefing last people, including 18 children, the Israeli military launched deadly strikes on the southern Gazan city of Rafah overnight on Saturday that killed 22 people, including 18 children, health officials say. Among the affected was a baby who was saved from her dying mother's womb after the airstrike in Rafah. She was named after her mother, who did not survive. More than half of Gaza's population has sought safety in Rafah to escape fighting in the Israel-Hamas conflict following October 7th, the attack on October 7th. The war has killed more than 34,000 Palestinians, at least two-thirds of them women and children, according to local health officials. During a press briefing last week, Pentagon Press Secretary, Air Force Major General Pat Ryder, responded to questioning on Israeli efforts to evacuate people out of Rafah ahead of a potential invasion.
We've heard from an Israeli source that the Israelis have made significant progress in preparations to evacuate roughly 1 million people out of Rafah ahead of any possible operations there, and that the U.S. is aware of these efforts, which include preparing areas to the north with repairing pipes and setting up tents. Can you speak to those efforts, and does the relocation of these people meet with the sort of recommendations the U.S. is making to the Israelis as they proceed?
I really can't.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a statement Sunday, in the coming days, we will increase the political and military pressure on Hamas because this is the only way to bring back our hostages and achieve victory. We will land more and painful blows on Hamas soon. Saturday's strikes on Rafah came the same day the U.S. House of Representatives approved a $26 billion aid package for the Middle East. The legislative body greenlighted $17 billion of military aid for Israel and $9 billion for aid into Gaza. The Senate is expected to pass the bill this week, which will then send it to President Joe Biden to sign into law.
Netanyahu says the bill demonstrates strong bipartisan support for Israel and defends Western civilization. Thank you, friends. Thank you, America.
This comes as medical forensics teams uncovered a mass grave reportedly created by Israeli forces next to Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip that was recently overrun by Israeli forces. 180 bodies have been found so far, according to Al Jazeera. The United States is expected to announce sanctions against multiple Israeli military units over human rights violations in the West Bank. Two U.S. sources told the Times of Israel yesterday. First, the U.S. was looking to sanction the IDF unit, Netza Yuda Battalion, but according to sources, it is now mulling sanctions over other units. Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and War Cabinet Minister Benny Gantz urged U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken to not go ahead with sanctions in separate talks yesterday, Israeli officials said.
Now, this all falls ahead of the start of the Passover holiday this week. FBI Director Christopher Wray said law enforcement is on alert for any potential threats to the Jewish community. He said last week, we at the Bureau remain particularly concerned that lone actors could target large gatherings, high-profile events, or symbolic or religious locations for violence, particularly a concern, of course, as we look to the start of the Passover on Monday evening.
All right, lots to get into here. First, I think Rafah is the big question hanging in the air. Biden, the red line of sorts, saying that he did not recommend a ground invasion because of the humanitarian consequences. But as you saw in the clip with the spokesperson, the State Department spokesperson there, when asked whether or not he had more information as to what Israel had done to avoid the kind of cataclysmic humanitarian disaster that would naturally accrue with a ground invasion or an attack on the over half of the civilian population, which is now sequestered, seeking refuge in Rafah, there was no response. Despite that, we saw these attacks over the weekend, which have seen casualties disproportionately falling on children, with 18 out of the 22 dead, and not to mention the child that was rescued from her mother's womb who did not survive. And I think there is an ongoing question as to whether or not Biden is actually going to treat this as a red line, or according to reporting which the White House pushed back against last week, it had made a sort of a deal with the devil and saying, all right, we're going to look the other way on Rafah if you agree not to strike back against Iran.
But they did strike back against Iran anyway. That's the point. Biden said there was no need for further retaliation in that direction, and it looked like Israel was going to hold off, and then it went ahead and did it anyway. They're doing Rafah anyway, and we just wrote them another check.
Right.
So I think at some point, doesn't there have to be tremendous frustration among some of the American people who are skeptical of all this foreign aid, which we're talking about, at other points in the show today about the horrible package of bills that were passed over the weekend. But it does appear that these red lines are just, they walk right across them. Netanyahu walks right across them and nothing happens. And so, what is the point of our diplomacy, the point of our spending should be to get on foreign governments, right? Even if the people who believe in that we should do that, it's to get something diplomatically that the U.S. wants. Yeah. And so if we're spending our money, if we're giving our money, the hard-working U.S. taxpayers' money to other governments, and then we're not getting out of those governments the diplomatic goals that we want met, what is the point? And does it?
Now, Biden said that they wasn't going to back up Israel by retaliating again against Iran. But the House passed a $17 billion bill to Israel as aid war continues in Gaza.
Speak to the powerlessness of the presidency, or of this president in particular, who seems to be totally ignored by Netanyahu to an extent, frankly, that his predecessors were not.
Yeah, and look, we're seeing people like John Fetterman push back against the idea there being any consequences for any Israeli action, whether it's reporting over these mass graves, whether it's the reporting over a doctor who says through family that she has been not just kind of arrested and detained, but tortured by the IDF, whether it's the discovery of now multiple mass graves where people have been found in hospital scrubs with IVs still in their arms, bound and buried, presumably by the IDF after they've taken control of these various medical facilities. It's getting increasingly difficult for the average American to defend. And we're seeing that reflected in the poll numbers. But in terms of what large numbers of Congress members are willing to support, including very vocal pro-Israel factions like that are represented by people like John Fetterman, he's coming out and saying we shouldn't even respect American law that already exists in terms of the Leahy Act, which would preclude us from giving aid to countries that are violating our international humanitarian norms. We're at a place where when journalists ask...
So you heard this, they passing a bill. Now this video is titled, where is it? Right here. Netanyahu ignores Biden red line as Israeli strike more women and children in Rafah. And I tell you, in Deuteronomy 28, which the Lord said this is what the Edomites was going to do to the Israelites. But he's doing this everywhere. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 50. It reads, let's read further 9. The Lord, Yahweh, shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. They spoke Latin. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the persons of old, nor show favor to the young. When you read in Ezekiel 9 and 4, verse 5 and 6, the Lord said that he will slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, which is talking about Israelites. But Esau, Edom being in rulership, he's chopping down any and everybody. Let me get this. Because also, when I saw this clip, I also saw this. Just something I just saw. I want to make some points on this, man. Because they over there killing up women and children, man. As they should. As they should. Now check this out. 4-minute clip. Maybe an infomercial. So lock it bear with me here. Look at this nigga here. John Stamos. Old dried up bitter prune. Now this one, check this out. Lord willing. And here's one of these Ishmaelites.
شوف في زلم واحد في كل المستشهدين، هات لي زلم واحد استشهد فيهم كلهم، اللي في الدار واللي هنا كلهم اطفال ونساء زي ما شافت عينك.
He said his entire, right here, he said my entire identity has been wiped out with my wife, children, and everyone.
كلها راحت مسحت الزوج ولاده كلهم. في الشعور خلص الشعور.
I have no feelings are left. We lost everyone, but the women and everyone found me a man who has been targeted. He said, hold on. He said, I have no feelings are left. We lost everyone, with the women and everyone. Find me a man who has been targeted. They are all women and children in front of you. You can read their what? You can read their names. Women crying and grieving while being pulled away from the bodies by a man saying Arabic goodbye. And this is why the nations is angry. When you read in Job, let's get this in Job 20. Just a couple of precepts, man. This is Job 20 and 22. It reads, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. And the wicked is talking about these other nations. We go to Isaiah 14, it mentions, it stirreth up the dead for thee. All the chief ones of the nations, the kings of the earth, the heathens, right? So then you got Jeremiah. This is Jeremiah 51. I'm going to make these points. Because Esau is doing this to everybody, man. First and foremost, it applied to you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, West Indians, and Haitians. But now he's doing it to everybody. Jeremiah 51:6, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off from her iniquity. For this time For this is the time of Yahweh's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense. So if you are if you in the midst of this and you haven't Yahweh Shalom should have given you the Holy Spirit, man, when this thing really take flight in America, it's gonna be bad. Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain. If so be, she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon. If it was possible, the Lord would have healed America. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go everyone to his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto the heaven and is lifted up to the skies. When you go to Malachi, not Malachi, Salakia, Micah 2, it reads this, verse 1. This is Micah 2 and 1. Woe to him that devises iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. They covet fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his heritage. And the heritage that they oppressed and the houses that they took away was the Hebrew Israelites. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family, the Edomites, do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. So we're watching this play out, right? This is Micah 2. Nope, let's go to what is that? Habakkuk 2, right? It reads this in verse 6. Shall not all these take up a parable against thee, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long unto him that laden himself with the clay? Shall they not rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and a weight that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? So these nations is starting to speak against these Edomites, man. I want to go back to Micah 2. Let me see here. Right. This is Micah 2 in verse 3. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family, right? This family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall ye go haughtily, for this time is evil. In that day shall one take up a parable, and against you and lament with the doleful lamentation, and say, we be utterly spoiled. How have Salakia, and we be utterly spoiled? He have changed the portion of my people. How have he removed it far from me? Turned away, he have divided our fields. Here's the so-called white man. Esau, Edom, man. But the point I want to make is say, in that day shall one take up a parable against you. So now the world is speaking out against these Edomites, man. It said 18 out of the 22 people that was bombed, 18 of them was children, and the other few was women, man. But it's the judgment of the Lord. The Lord said he shall slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children, and women, and come not near the ancient men, because they're going to be destroyed too. And I just want to make the point like this devil, they show you on the screen that Israel is okay, that things are getting back to normal. But then you got this guy Scott Ritter tell you that it was some of those Russian missiles, cruise missiles or ballistic missiles, that got through and destroyed some of Israel. So now they retaliated. Now, when you go back to what was it, 2022, they killed two, I think it was three actually. They killed three of the Iranian generals, man. They killed three of Iranian military generals. Two, I know for sure they did. So then they killed another one. What do you think gonna happen, man? And then Esau is bumming women and children again, which is the prophecy of Yahweh Shema Shai, that this is going to happen. But the world is taking up a doleful lamentation against the so-called white man because he's the problem. And the apostles, our apostles and other bishops and elders, been telling you for years that it's the so-called white man. And you can't go against prophecy, as Biden said. They ain't going to back up Israel after going against Iran. You know why he said that? And this all the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. America know that if they have to back up Israel, which they will finally do, Russia is coming. Russia and China is coming. Russia have a lot of business dealing with Iranians, man. And as I always bring out, which was told to us by the apostle Elder Bishop Neville. When you read in Daniel 7, when you go to Daniel chapter 2, see, they removed the Apocrypha. They removed the Apocrypha because the Apocrypha is when so-called Negroes, Jamaicans, and Haitians was in captivity under the Greeks. But you slow-bellied niggas forgot to remove Daniel 7, Daniel's 11, Daniel 7 and 8. You forgot Daniel's chapter 2, 7, 8, and 11. You should remove those two because it clearly tells you in Daniel's 8 about the he-goat that came against the ram, right? And the he-goat stamped upon the ram representing Medo and Persian Empire. The lesson I did earlier. The so-called white man said that civilization started with the Greeks. But here it is. As the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai has revealed these Edomites in the last days. You ain't Edomites. You are the Dukes of Edom that came out of Petra. You was chased into Europe, that bottomless pit, which is known as the Caucasus Mountain, between Georgia and Russia over there. So there's a lot of doleful lamentations against the so-called white man. Because everybody pointing a finger that, man, this is him. And I just want to make these points because now shameful spewing shall be on their glory. For all the rape, rob, murder, pillage, and plunder that the so-called white man has done in the earth since they came over here with smallpox and scurvy and gave it to Gad, Reuben, and Issachar, man. But then Gad and Reuben and Issachar, and when Cristobal Colon landed in El Salvador, Hispaniolas called today. They already had a situation. They already had irrigation system set up, how they grew their crops. And Jake wasn't using no pesticides. I was mentioning it today, man. Abraham wasn't using pesticides. So the Lord told Cain that the earth shall not yield its full strength unto thee. Now it makes sense why they got to create GMO foods. Because the so-called white man don't got a green thumb. The green thumb is a spiritual thumb, which is in the midst of the Hebrew Israelites, man. The so-called white man don't got a green thumb. He can tell you, oh yeah, I grow watermelons, with seeds in them. Yeah, I can get this, I can get that, grapefruits. They don't got a green thumb, man. And it's hip because I was thinking about this. When Jacob, he tell you that Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents, right? What does Israel do today? The hopeful that we focus on the law, we focus on doing to the best of our ability the law. We are focusing on doing the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. That's most important. So we watching these guys. Everybody done took the 501c3. Everybody bugged out, doing their own thing. And I was watching, I was watching this movie, The Book of Clarence, right? When Yahweh Shai and the apostles pulled up on the scene, niggas was still being niggas, man. You had Clarence said, man, there he go. When you watch the movie, he said, there he go. Cause they showed you in the movie that one of the apostles was Clarence's brother, which was Thomas. What was Jake doing when Yahweh Shai came in on scene, man? They were still being niggas. And see the movie. I like this movie, Book of Clarence, because they show you the only Edomites that was in the city was the Romans. Save that one Edomite that the Lord put the spirit on and gave him this power so he could go around and give people money so they could say, look, another false prophet, another false Messiah. And they hung his ass up too. But in the movie, they show you that it was all Jake. It was Judah, Benjamin, Levi. And I tell you, because Anna, he tell you in the book of Luke that Anna was there. And Anna was a northern kingdom sister. So you had a sprinkle of northern kingdom. But it was mostly Judah, Benjamin, Levi, so-called Jamaicans, Negroes, and Haitians. So they show you in the movie that Jake was doing what they was doing when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, man. Picture today, picture right now today, if the Lord pulled up, what niggas doing? Niggas still selling dope. Niggas still finna go to the club, party, whatever. And they showed you because they had a club scene in the movie Book of Clarence when they was all dancing, right? They was all dancing, having a good time, smoking dank. They call it dank. Good reefer. That's the same thing that was going on when I wish I was on the scene. Jake wasn't the Lord here. We need to get right. No, niggas was being niggas. And that's why I like the movie because they showed you that Jake was being Jake. Even when Yahweh Shai was on the scene, man. Niggas was still being niggas like, man, man, I got my kid, I got kid, they gotta eat tonight. Okay, yeah, that was the apostles and Yahweh Shai, but man, I gotta get my bread. So anyway, I just want to show this because Esau ain't gonna stop, man. He ain't gonna stop. And now US saying they want to sanction the IDF because they going too far overboard. They going overboard, right? This what America's saying. That Israel is going overboard. Hold on. Nigga, what are you talking about? Let's get this. They saying that Israel is going overboard in what they doing to the Palestinians. It's all judgment from Yahweh Shema Shai. When you read in Zechariah, well, when I say these are some hypocrites, now they talking about sanctioning Israel because of what they're doing to Gaza. You heard the video. They talking about funding the Israelis and funding Gaza. That's double-minded, man. Zechariah 1:15. And I am very sure displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped for the affliction. So here it is. Oh, let's get this. In Isaiah 33, they talking about they ain't gonna back up Israel dealing with bumming Gaza. But you giving them more money. It say they giving them more money. Isaiah 33:1. That's where Yahweh Shai said this. Yahweh Shai said this. Woe to him, woe to thee that is spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. Because America had the whole dominance, the power, the hegemony on the earth. That's why the UN is in America, man. The UN ain't in Russia or China. The UN is not in Great Britain. It's in Babylon, the Great America. Because the elites is destroying this place from inside out. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. Who is the they? Who is the they in this verse, man? When you go to, let me get this in Isaiah. Shalakia. Was it Isaiah 21? If I ain't mistaken. Yup. Isaiah 21, right? It reads in verse 1. The burden of the desert of the sea. The sea represents the people. As whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it coming from the desert, from a tremble, from a terrible land. A grievous vision is declared unto me. Listen, the treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media, all the sign thereof have I made to cease. And it said, go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. So here it is, Iranians and the Russians, the Lord has joined them together. Therefore, are my loins filled with pains. Pains have taken a hold upon me as the pains of a woman in travail, that I might bow down at the hearing of it. What? At the hearing of what? Here come the Medes and Persians. I was dismayed. It's like I was dismayed at the seeing of it. So this vision that Isaiah saw was Elam. It said besiege. Isaiah 21:2. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealers dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, and Media, all the sign thereof have I made to cease. This is going to happen through the transition of Yahushua, the rock that was cut out with our hands, man. But we are watching Elam and Media is brewing up to besiege this place. This is prophecy, man. Isaiah 21:2. Go up, O Elam, the Persians, besiege, O Media, all the sign thereof have I made to cease. So we are watching this play out in real time. And these niggas still is arrogant with what they doing, man. No remorse for the old or the young. But the Lord said it in Ezekiel 96. Slay early, old and young, both maids and little children, man. And I just want to make some points on that. Because this is serious. Look what they doing, man. What was it, 2022? They killed 3 of Iran's generals, man. Military strategists. They killed them. Now they done killed another one. So the same way the so-called white man has pushed his treacherous dealing through the earth, you got Japan, right? So what was told, the apostles, the bishops and elders, the apostles mentioned this a lot about how Japan celebrate every year what America did to them by dropping bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? They celebrate that. What does that mean, man? They waiting to get some get back too. They waiting to get back. So as NATO was established to dismantle the Soviet Union, the Lord said in Ezekiel 38 that he's going to put hooks into the jaws of Gog, Magog, and turn them back to the old Soviet Union spirit. So, man, this treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously. The Lord is stirring up jealousy. And I'm going to close with this. This is Isaiah. The least of the flock should draw them out, man, no matter what happens. See, they tell me, see, Biden said we ain't sending no military, but they sending the money. Hold on, man. Hold on. Let's run this back. One more time before I close. Salaki. Let's run this back. Listen to this, man. Hmm. Mm. See? See? This is Isaiah 33:1. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou was not spoiled, and didst treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be able, and when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. So this is what's happening. So while America talking about peace, peace, many other nations are ready to go to war, man. And the Lord said in Joel 3, beat your plowshares in the swords and your pruning hooks in the spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. So though Biden said they're not going to back up Israel strike with Gaza, you sending them money. House passes 17 billion Israel aid as war continues in Gaza. Come on, man. Look, 108. See, that's what I was just reading the article. How is this possible that Israel can send sanctions to Babylon the Great American sent giving sanctions to Israel? Hold on, I thought they was on the same page though. Nope. Let's read this. See, the Lord is stirring up jealousy like a man of war. Let's read this first. Isaiah 42:13. Yahweh shall go forth as a mighty man. He shall stir up jealousy like a man of war. He shall cry, yell, roar. He shall prevail against his enemies. How the hell is Israel and America on the same page? These niggas said sending them 17 billion, but then they said they're gonna put sanctions on them This is madness, bruv. This is Mark. Let's get this in Mark. As a matter of fact, let me go here. So you go to the book of Mark. This is Mark 3 and 23. Salakia. And he called them unto him, saying, he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. Right? This is Luke 11. What's that? 27, maybe 17. Salakia. Let's see here. Yeah. So Luke 11 and 17. But he, knowing their thoughts, said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and a house divided against a house falleth. And that's at Ezekiel 14 and 1, right? The Lord ride upon a swift cloud. He's coming to destroy all the images, the idols of Babylon the Great. So I just want to make those 2 points. Because they are not on the same page. And as a matter of fact, to close with Daniel, this is Daniel, what is that? 2:38. Let's read some of this. Lord willing. Daniel 2:38. And whatsoever the children of men dwell, this is what Daniel telling Nebuchadnezzar, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand. And he made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold, which is Babylon. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over thee. So here it is. Daniel was telling him about after he died, which is the head of gold. He had the Medes and Persian Empire, which is the Iranians. It said, then another kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. That'll be the Greeks. They'll begin the rulership of the so-called white man. And these bastards say that civilization started with them in the Greek Empire, man. Stank, dusty, dirty, scurvy, smallpox niggas, man. It's going to tell you the bubonic plague and the bubonic plague came from Israelites, man. This image head was of fine gold. Shalaki, verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great king, whoso bringeth was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. That's that Psalms 47 and 11. The Lord is terrible. The Lord is terrible, man. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, which is Medes and Persians, his belly and his thighs of brass. That's the Greek Empire. His legs of iron, which is the Roman Empire, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till a stone was cut out with thy hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces. Hey, so Lord was edifying. This is confusion, man. So they with Israel. Oh, let me close with this. So they with Israel, but then you putting sanctions on them. This is Jeremiah. What was that? Jeremiah 49 and 20. I think it is. Jeremiah 49 and 20, right? It reads this. Oh, Salaki, I spelled Jeremiah wrong. Bear with me. So this is Jeremiah 49 and 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh that he have taken against Edom, and his proposes that he have proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them. And this is what we are watching happen, man. We watching Edomites on Edomite. And as the elder Tazadok brought out, if I'm pronouncing the elder name right, Taz, he always say short for Taz. And he's in the GMS New York camp. He's making the point that those Iranians, the Iranians was the damn Khazarian Empire, man. It was the Khazarian Empire, which is heavy. So we watching America giving money and aid to Israel, and Biden said they don't want to fight that, man. Well, it's according to the Lord, Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whatsoever he will. It's all of the Lord, man. But we were watching Esau bombing women and children because they don't care. But the scripture said they would do it, whether it be Israelites or heathen nations, man. Because their greed has overpowered their mind, man. Lord was edifying. I got to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rekah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles. And they're the vision, that was a great millstone who were well, who teach well, who are the apostles, and of all of Israel, ready to set them not. And essentially, it's salutation to all the Akim, pushing the truth and believing in truth. For the four winds of the earth, the entire world, shed light to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the wealth of wellness and learning. If you sister us learn to the name, may Yahweh Shema shall continue to bless in your houses. May the blessing of election be upon your house. Until next time, I say Shalom, Wa Ababa. And as I tell you in James 2 and 13, he will be showed no mercy that showed no mercy, man. Yeah, that's the so-called white man. Shalom.